I never should have gone into that old cave, but curiosity got the better of me, as it often does. I'd heard the local legends about strange noises and eerie lights coming from deep within the mountain, but I always dismissed them as campfire stories meant to scare kids. How wrong I was. It was a crisp autumn day when I decided to explore the cave entrance. I'd spotted while hiking. Armed with just a flashlight and water bottle, I ducked under the low opening and ventured inside. The air grew damp and chilly as I made my way deeper, my light barely penetrating the inky darkness ahead. The narrow passage eventually opened into a larger cavern, its ceiling lost in shadows high above. My light swept across glittering mineral deposits and bizarre rock formations, but it was what I saw next that made my blood run cold. There, carved into the far wall, was an intricate series of symbols and pictographs, unlike anything I'd ever seen. They seemed to glow faintly with an otherworldly light. As I approached to get a closer look, a low rumble shook the cavern. Pebbles skittered across the ground at my feet, heart-pounding. I spun a room searching for the source of the sound. Badass, when I saw it, a massive shape emerging from a crevice I'd even noticed before. It was vaguely humanoid, but far larger than any person. Its skin was a sickly gray color that seemed to shift and ripple in the dim light. I stood frozen in terror as the creature unfolded itself to its full height, easily 12 feet tall. Its head swiveled towards me, revealing glowing red eyes set deep in a face that was somehow both alien and disturbingly familiar. A guttural growl emanated from somewhere in its chest. I didn't wait to see what would happen next. I turned and ran, heart threatening to burst from my chest as I scrambled back through the twisting passageways. I could hear the thing pursuing me, its heavy footsteps shaking the ground. Just when I thought my lungs would explode, I saw a faint glimmer of daylight ahead. With a final burst of desperate energy, I flung myself out of the cave entrance and tumbled down the slope outside. I didn't stop running until I reached my car, hands shaking so badly I could barely get the key in the ignition. As primeras I glanced in the rearview mirror. For a split second, I thought I saw a hulking shape silhouetted against the cave mouth, but when I looked again, there was nothing there. I've never told anyone the full story of what happened that day. Who would believe me? But I know what I saw, and I know that some things are better left undisturbed, hidden away in the dark places of the world. Sometimes at night, I still hear that low, rumbling growl in my dreams, and I wonder, what if it found a way out? What if it's still out there, waiting in the shadows? I try to tell myself it was just my imagination running wild in the darkness of the cave. But deep, don't I know the truth? There are things in this world beyond our understanding. Ancient and terrible things that should never see the light of day. If you're ever hiking in those mountains and come across a cave entrance, heed my warning. Don't go in. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. Some doors should remain closed, because you never know what might be waiting on the other side, ready to emerge from the depths and plunge our world into darkness. I often find myself lying awake at night, replaying every terrifying detail of that encounter in my mind. The glowing symbols on the cave wall haunt me. What did they mean? Were they some kind of warning left by previous explorers, or something far more sinister? And that creature, what was it? Some kind of undiscovered species that had evolved in isolation deep within the mountain, or something not of this world entirely. Its eyes seemed to hold an intelligence that chilled me to my core. It wasn't just some mindless beast. There was purpose behind those glowing red orbs. I've done research since that day, scouring old newspapers and local history books for any mention of similar encounters. To my shock, I found scattered reports going back decades of hikers and campers describing strange noises and glimpses of large, shadowy figures in that area of the mountains. Most were dismissed as tall tailies or mistaken sightings of bears. But now I know better. Whatever I encountered in that cave has been there for a long, long time. And I fear it's not alone. There are nights when the wind sounds a little too much like that rumbling growl, and I find myself checking that all the doors and windows are locked. I've started sleeping with a baseball bat next to my bed. Irrational, perhaps, but the terror of that day has never fully left me. I've thought about going to the authorities, telling them what I saw. But what would I say? That I encountered some kind of monster in a cave. They'd think I was crazy or on drugs, and part of me is afraid that drawing attention to it might somehow make things worse. so I've kept my terrible secret, carrying the weight of it alone. But I knew I had to share my story somehow, to warn others of the danger lurking in those mountains. That's why I'm telling you now. If you ever exploring in that area and come across a cave entrance, partially hidden behind some boulders, don't let curiosity get the better of you like it did me. Keep walking. Pretend you never saw it, because some things are meant to stay buried in the dark. I often wonder if I somehow triggered something by entering that cave. Did my presence awaken that creature from some kind of hibernation? Did I unknowingly set in motion events that could threaten the entire world? These questions gnaw at me constantly. I find myself obsessively checking the news for any strange reports from that region. So far, there's been nothing obvious. But how long will that last? Sometimes I think about going back, trying to find that cave entrance again. Not to go inside. Never again. But to somehow seal it off or collapse it, to make sure that thing can never get out. But the very thought of returning to that place fills me with paralyzing dread. And truthfully, I'm not entirely sure I could find it again even if I wanted to. In my panic to escape, I wasn't exactly taking note of landmarks. The cave entrance was well hidden to begin with. For all I know, it may have somehow sealed itself back up, erasing any trace of its existence. Part of me hopes that's the case, that whatever I encountered is safely contained, never to threaten the outside world. But another part of me knows better. You can't simply forget something like that. You can't unsee it or unknow it. That creature is out there, somewhere in the darkness beneath the mountains, waiting, watching. And someday, somehow, it will find a way out. When that day comes, heaven help us all. So I leave you with this final warning. Be careful what you go looking for in the dark places of the world. Some mysteries are better left unsolved. Some doors should remain closed, because once they're opened, there's no telling what might come through. And if you ever find yourself in a situation like I did, face to face with something beyond comprehension, don't hesitate. Run. Run as fast and as far as you can, and pray that it's not already too late. The world is full of wonders, yes, but it's also home to terrors beyond imagining. I've seen one with my own eyes, and I'll never be the same. So the next time you're out hiking and come across an enticing cave entrance, remember my story. Remember what I found lurking in the darkness, and ask yourself, is satisfying your curiosity really worth the risk? Because trust me, some things are better left undiscovered. Some secrets should remain buried deep in the earth, never to see the light of day. I learned that lesson the hard way. Don't make the same mistake I did. Stay safe out there, and whatever you do, stay out of strange caves.